A new documentary shedding light on the process of legalizing marijuana for recreational use here in Washington is in the works.
That's right. Coming up next, creators of Evergreen, the road to legalization in Washington, stop by to talk about their documentary, and we'll also ask them about the possible return of the NBA to Seattle. Right now, welcome back to Q13 Fox News this morning. So our state became one of two to legalize marijuana for recreational use, and believe it or not, it was a long road getting there.
Oh, yeah, a long fight. Here to talk about the new documentary, Evergreen, the road to legalization in Washington. The director is Riley Morton and co-producer Jason Reed. And we'll talk about the new film in just a moment. But Jason, you know, Sonic's Gate was where you made your name, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what's been happening of late. All the reports indicate that they were on the 1 foot line getting this deal to get Sacramento sold and here to Seattle. What's your take on that whole situation?
Well, it looks like, you know, they're getting yet another stay of execution down there with David Stern giving, you know, Kevin Johnson a chance to sort of do a last-minute Hail Mary. From all accounts, it looks like things are progressing the right way with the, you know, the sale to you know, Chris Hansen's group, but we have to just wait and see and let everything play its course. And, you know, they've gotten a lot of opportunities that Seattle never got, but we're just, you know, hopeful that things work out in our favor here.
Did we screw it up in the media and all of us getting so excited about the news when it first came out that they were closed? Because I think I talked too much about it, and us media folks talked too much about it, and we maybe put too much light on it.
Yeah, I think that, like, I mean, it definitely drew attention, but, you know, our whole thing is, like, it shouldn't be fans against fans. It's the powers that be that are going to decide this thing. The fans, as we saw here in Seattle, are relatively helpless in this situation. And all we can do is support each other as fans. I mean, we don't necessarily want, you know, Kings fans to be heartbroken like we were heartbroken, but this is the reality of the business of the NBA.
All right, let's talk about Evergreen. So you looked at a lot of issues behind the legalization of marijuana and the path it took to get us here. So in both of your opinions, what do you think it was? What were the key things that happened that finally got us to where we are right now?
The group that put it together, so politically savvy, so smart in so many ways, Allison Holcomb and Tanya Winchester, and the entire team, you know, John McKay, Rick Steves, they put together an amazing team that kind of played against type in a lot of ways. So they're very interesting for us as documentary characters because they're not exactly what you expect when you think of you know, sort of marijuana legalization proponents. So I think that in large part helped them succeed, and it was a fascinating story to cover for the last year.
And I think one of the things about 502 that allowed it to pass is that they looked at all the issues. They looked at the revenue, and they looked at, you know, impaired driving and issues like that. And so it became a very responsible referendum. It wasn't about let's go out and get stoned.
Exactly.
It was about, you know, let's think about this realistically in this economic time. And I think that was one of the reasons why it had, you know, so much traction.
No doubt about that. You know, that 10% in the middle that really kind of swings elections, I think they were sort of satisfied that this wasn't going, you know, the sky wasn't going to fall if it passed. And so, so yeah, they really swung the election and did better than anybody anticipated, you know, 55%.
Where do you see it going from here? Do you see a big fight from Washington, D.C. over this? Do you see any sort of a model from the way Colorado approached this? I mean, how do you think we move forward?
Your guess is as good as mine. It'll be interesting. I do think it'll roll out as we move forward. More states will continue to legalize, but yeah, the feds very well might challenge this. You know, if you talk to Dan Satterberg, the King County prosecutor, he really believes the feds will challenge specifically the state licensed stores. He thinks maybe the decriminalization will stay, but the state licensed stores might be challenged by the feds. So it's up to Obama and his administration. We'll see what they end up doing this year.
Any surprises that people will get out of watching the film, do you think?
Lots of surprises.
Yeah?
Jason probably can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of came on board and have been editing this whole thing for the last month or so, and I think that just kind of seeing that opposition, I think you know, people outside of this area who didn't follow the case closely, you know, you expect cops and law enforcement officials and your typical mothers against drunk driving coming out against this. Well, because of the way that they did orchestrate this thing, they actually had, you know, the soccer moms and everyone in support of this. The people who were opposed to it were the medical marijuana industry folks and people that, you know, are actually pro legalization. They just believe that this form of legalization isn't the right path forward. They would prefer something more along the lines of Colorado that allows home grow and allows some other elements that are a little more liberal in their policy. So I think when people see the people who are against this, they'll be surprised to see that they're the most hardcore legalization supporters.
Fantastic. Well, Evergreen director Riley Morton and co-producer Jason Reed, thank you so much for joining us.
Follow us on Twitter, Evergreen Doc. evergreendocumentary.com.
And for more information as well, you can head to evergreendocumentary.com. You just said that.
That's
better
right.
than
We
I
got
did.
a fundraising campaign too, so check it out.
All right, let's send it over to MJ for a look at your weather forecast. Good morning, MJ.
Good morning.